Hey everybody, welcome back again to another video here on Noble Farms. We got a little video going on here of building a sheep feeder. The audio turned out pretty crappy, so we're going to do a voiceover on it, try to explain to you the best we can on what we're doing. So stick around and we'll show you another new build, another new day here on the farm.
You watching Noble Farms.
Hey you, why are you not subscribed? Please smash that subscribe button.
So we're going to get ready and put some crossbars into the feeder that you see in the background there. We have partial of the feeder already prepped, ready to go. So my neighbor Rod, he's over today helping me out too as well, trying to get this build. And it's a cold, miserable day, so trying to get this finished off. We need an extra one, so what we're doing, just making sure that we're cutting to the extent length that we can get out of those bars. And again, these are the bars that we took out of the balers that you've seen in the previous videos, the old New Holland balers. We collect the bars out of them because piping is so expensive to buy these days, so we reuse the bars out of those. So just cutting them the length here now to be able to put a second row of cross beams in that feeder there, so the sheep can we can get the rebar put in for the crossbars. So trying to measure that up there now and get it ready to weld. We'll weld them together here in a little bit, but right now we're just measuring them off, getting them the right length of the baler. Once we get that measured up, we'll just mark them, cut them off. We'll get them welded up here. And these balers are really good for this. The bars in them are 5 foot in length roughly, so that's pretty much, we try to use every bit of the piping. We bake the baler or the bale feeder quite a bit high. That way we eliminates the sheep from jumping up on top of the bales and urinating on top of the feed and stuff like that. So with a high feeder like that, we can stack 2 round bales on top of each other, and that eliminate that problem that we had. So okay, so we're gonna get those pipes cut here now and get them all welded together, and then we'll get them put into the feeder here. So we're going to speed this up a little bit because it's a little bit of monotonous stuff going on here, continuing on just cutting and welding up here. So we'll continue on until speed it up a little bit for you. So now we're done with that. As you can see, the bars that we welded up is there on the ground by the side of the feeder. So now we're going to end up trying to figure out how we're going to get this up to waist height so we can actually work on it and weld on it. We ain't no expert welder, so we're going to lift this up here now and put it up on a couple stools so it's up high enough that we can work on it at a comfortable height here and get those bars put in place where they need to go. So the more steel that we're putting onto this thing, the heavier it's getting. So as we keep going, this is getting heavier and heavier. So I'll grab that other stool. Rod's doing all the muscle work here on lifting this up. Hopefully it doesn't topple over. Once we get it up there, then that's a pretty good height then to work off. So, and these feeders are very easy to make, is not rocket science at all. Put this together pretty easily. It's tough trying to get everything square and that because the baler that those bars came out of, over years and years and years of use, the bars ain't perfectly straight by any means. So trying to get it square and stuff is a battle, and this is not square. So just trying to work with what we got here and get this working. So got a little template piece of wood here on the height that we're gonna put that bar in there. That bar needs to go 10 inches off the bottom. So you'll see later in the video of a piece of wood going in there for the bottom base. But this will be the piece we're putting in here now. It'll be the start for where the sheep lean in over and stick their heads in through. So above that, not under that, as you'll see later in the video.
Okay, let's go.
So from a different angle now, we're so you guys can see a little bit easier on what's happening here. We got that pipe put in, and there it falls. But we're going to weld that on there now. So like I said, that little board we had there, and make it 10 inches high. So I'll spot weld that in there now and get it secured. And you'll start to see here in a little bit on how this is actually going to come together and work out. So just trying to get that stabilized there for now. And we'll speed this up and we'll get into the second part of this this side where we put the second bar in here. So we'll speed this up a little bit here for you. So here we go. We have the second one there now, ready to go in. So this one here now is going, I think it's 13 inches. We put this one high. So where I have the board in there now, that's where the little bits of rebar is going to stick down so they can stick their heads in through. So that'll be the second bar. So that has, the way we're doing that there now is how it has to go on the other three sides of this at the same heights all the way around. So that's going to be what we're doing here now for the next little bit. So not much to see other than that, welding the same thing over and over. But you'll get the gist of it here on what's happening. trying to get those bars in and get them as level straight as we can, because once we cut those rebars off to go in between, we'll be cutting them all the same length. So we want to make sure that it's as close as we can get, so we don't have too big of a gap in the middle there. So trying to get that all fitted in there is a task. We grind off a little bit because it's a bit tight there now. So it's a little bit of fooling around, trying to get everything set up. But with a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and a cold day like it is, got all the time in the world to make sure it's all fitting properly. So we'll let you look at a little bit of this and what's happening there, and then we'll move into the next step on this. So we're on the other side now, putting in the rest of it on the other side. Same system, same way, same thing. So trying to get that fitted in. This one here, we had to force in there a little bit because this one here was a little too tight. I get all set up to get it into place. Obviously drop the board. So trying to get that in spot, but it's a little too tight, but try to get her in there the best we can. And there you go. I'm looking out the door because I just heard the alarm go off in the truck. And that's my cue that supper's ready. So whenever it's meal time and I'm out in the shop working, Danielle always set the alarm off on the pickup truck, so I know it's supper time. So I know that's my cue. So as you can see, this one's pretty tight getting in there. I had to force it a little bit, but we managed to hammer it in place nice and tight. So we can get that welded in there, no issues at all. And these builds are quite fun sometimes. Like I said, when it's miserable outside and things like that, these are times to catch up on these little projects. There's lots of little things can be done in the shop, and we take advantage of times like this. Definitely need to get this shop cleaned up, that's for sure. We have everything everywhere. So we're going to continue on putting all of these bars in here, as you'll see, and get ready for the rebar to go in between all this. So there's a whole bunch of rebar to get put inside. So we'll keep looking at this and move on to the next part. So now you can see a little change of scenery. So we're on the press here now, trying to squat together both ends on this so we can weld it against the pipe. I made a little jig here to go in the press, so once you press it down, then it only goes so far, so both sides are pressed at the same size. So we're just adjusting it now, trying to get it into place, and see if we can get that pressed down to keep it as straight as we can. Rod's using the jack part. So as you'll see now, that'll press right down as far as we can go with it. It'll bottom out. And then we'll just, once it bottoms out, Rod will release the pressure, and we'll turn that pipe around and get that. I guess I had the other end done, so we'll move on to another pipe. Pretty simple little rig. Just a little cheap ass little press. But works great. No issues at all. So we have 4 like this that we have to do both ends. So like I said, we're squatting those ends, and the reason for that is because once we go to weld, put that in between the bar uprights in the bale feeder on each end, instead of cutting 30 degrees on each end to make them fit around the pipe, because what we're trying to do is weld up against a round piece of pipe. So we're squatting the ends so it's pushing the metal all together on the end and forming a tight bond so that we can just weld both sides instead of trying to make all these fancy cuts with fancy jigs to weld around the pipe. So just weld them straight up and down, and then you're good to go. So that's the reason why we're squatting both ends on this. Makes it fit a lot better. So now we're back again, putting those bars that we squat both ends in place here. So as you can see there, that's where that's going. So normally if the bar fits in between, they've got bolt holes on the ends, but where you have to cut off a little bit on each end of these, then you're just left with the round pipe. So that's the reason why we squat them, and then be able to weld a little better on the upright ends. So we're going to weld them in place. So we have 4 of these to go in, and then we have to go inside. I have to step inside the feeder and weld all the back sides of the pipe, because from outside all I'm welding is one side. So we have to get inside and weld everything then. So quite a little bit of welding to do inside. So trying to get that inside weld done, complete it, so to strengthen it up a little bit more. A little bit of moving around, a little bit of adjustments, grinding, and so on. You're trying to get this fit in here, because it's pretty crucial to have that one at the right height, that first one on the bottom, because that's going to make it or break it. Because if that bar is too high, then the sheep ain't going to reach into the feeder to be able to feed. Well, that never worked out very well, did it, eh? But anyway, Rod wouldn't hold it too tight, but we'll get it. A lot of screw ups on these little projects. As you're going with the flow, you're not by any plans, that's for sure. So yeah, like I said, if the bar is a little too high, then that means that the sheep ain't going to be able to reach inside to gain the full potential of the feeder. So that's why we're trying to get that pretty good and straight and the right height. So that's a great level we have there, isn't it? A block of wood. So yeah, we're just going to do some welding here now, quite a bit of welding. So we'll show you a little bit, speed you up the process here. And after this, I think we'll be into cutting some rebar and getting back into more welding and more fitting. And you'll start to see this come together here in a little bit. So like I said, we're moved into cutting some rebar here now. This is your 1/2 inch rebar. And that's what we had kicking around the farm. So using up some of the whole steel, scrap steel that we had around the farm here. So cutting these off, I think it's really 13.5 inches is the length on these. So we're cutting every one of them the same. I have a little jig made there on the other side of the chop saw. And so we're cutting these all off the same length. And so we can get them fit into that feeder. And there's quite a few. I think it's 50 or something, 40 or 50 of these that we need to go into this feeder. So we're going to get all these cut off now, get them all together and fit them in. It's not that easy fitting them in sometimes because it's where I talked about before, the pipe is bent. So you have to give and take. Some you grind off, some you have to put some spacers in there and try to build it up a little bit. So that's what we're doing here now, trying to cut some of that rebar. So you can see here now that we have a few of those bars in. You can see there in front of Rod standing there. So welding in the rest of them here. So that's just continuous all the way around. So what you're looking at here now, those bars are going 6 inches apart. So we just done the math on how many bars goes in there, so we have an equal distance between them all the way around. And yeah, we're just making that 6 inches, and we have marks all on the pipe all along there. So that 6 inches gives them enough room to stick their heads through, and obviously not enough room for them to climb in. But with that being said, if you do have really young lambs and that's hanging around with their mothers and stuff, and you're feeding out of one of these, then yeah, you probably might run into that situation where a lamb is going to squeeze right on through that 6-inch gap there in the bars. And we've seen that happen in the past. So yeah, that's why we're doing it this way, sticking to the 6 inches all the way around. And like I said, that'll be a good spot for them sticking their heads in, and they'll be able to reach that 1.5 to almost 2 feet nose stuck in each side. There will be a section in the middle of the feeder that the sheep can't reach, obviously, and we're fine with that, because you know what, that gives us an opportunity to not have to be spreading bedding around for them. All we do is lift this feeder off, and the remaining feed that's left in there, once we move the feeder, we'll move the feeder to one side, and what's left there they can clean up on the ground or use it for bedding. So it's a win-win for us both ways. So we're going to continue on welding these all the way around here now, and once that's done, you'll really get to see things shaping up here. And also too, you're going to see here now, we're going to have a strap out, an orange strap wrapped around. And you may ask yourself, what in the world is he doing there? Well, like I said before, those pipes being bent, and that 13.5-inch rebar is too loose in there, so we're pulling it together a little bit, trying to get it to connect so we can weld it. So bringing that pipe together just a little bit further, because some places it's 13.5, some places it's 14 inches, and we have to pull that down to make it fit. So, and sometimes we have to pull it apart because it's a little bit too tight. So trying to keep them all going the way is planned, but like I said, it's bent pipe, so you're trying to work around that too as well. So we'll keep on welding and get that done for you. So now we got all those bars in, and you can see there's a couple extra pieces in there that you never seen. These little flat bars that you see sticking out. There's angle iron now put in the corners here, making the corners. You'll see what they're used for in a little bit. That's where we're going to be screwing and bolting our boards to later on here. But as you can tell, the look of it's coming together there now. Some of the flat bar that you see in there is for just to support and stuff. Like I said, that's the angle iron that we've spot welded in there to be able to screw the boards to. So you can see the board goes in at bottom, a 10-inch plank, and up top there will be two 2x6s go in there all the way across. And so yeah, what you see there now is for to screw all that in. But as you can tell, you can see those rebars in there for that sheep and to stick their heads in through. So definitely coming together here now. So now you can really see what's happening here. I have the two 2x6s put in on top. Now we're measuring for that 10-inch plank to go on the bottom, like you see on the other side. A little jump ahead here, trying to get this done, but measuring that off, trying to get the right length so it fits right in between the pipes. So over to the chop saw here, get that 2x6 cut. That's the 2x6 that we mill ourselves on the mill here. So that's just plain poplar trees, aspen, whatever you guys want to call them. We like, that's mosses on our property here, so that's most we saw for that old stuff for around the farm. Heavy as lead, green, but getting that cut the length and get it in there, and bolting this all in, galvanized bolts, because that wood is going to rot and you'll want to remove those bolts and put new wood in there over time. And that's perfect. That's exactly how we want to do it. That feeder will last us for many, many, many years. This wood obviously won't last that long, but those galvanized bolts that we'll put in there will be a lot easier to take apart and won't be all rusty and stuff. So we can reuse all that. So it's coming together slowly but surely, and we'll get those planks put in here, and you'll really see how slick and stylish this thing is going to look. So here we are with that 2x10 that I cut, and you're going to see something here now that I talked about. See how much the pipe is bent, and I'm going to have to take a bunch off this 2x10 in order to get it fit in between the bars. So yeah, that's what it's like working with stuff all plied and bent out of shape. So we're going to take this plank now and get that brought over and get that cut so we can fit that inside, because it has to go in between the pipes. And these pipes are the bigger pipes you see, the up and down, and the bottom and the top are 2-inch, and the little ones that the rebar is on is only 1.25 inches. So, or 1.5 inches, sorry. So that plank is going to have to be shaved down in order to get in between, so we can screw bolt it on. So we'll take this back out again and get it over and get it sized. So now we have to take a 1-inch off, but it's not a straight line. We got to get the whole Betsy out here and fire her up. So I'll run that rough 1-inch off. She's just a smoking. So trying to cut that off. I got a line drawn on there where we need to be, so it's like goes to a feather edge on both ends and then goes up in the middle a bit. So that's why we're using the chainsaw here to cut that out to shape and size to get it in there. So we'll cut this out and it'll fit in there one way or the other. So here we are back again, gonna try to fit this again. And you're gonna see that it doesn't fit. Got the bottom section cut, you can see there, but there's still more that has to come off right along the top. Take another little skim off the top, but it has to come straight all the way this time, because what's happening is the bottom pipe is bent up, but the top one that I'm pointing to here now is pretty well straight. So we'll end up trying to take a little bit off all the way on the table saw. So we finally got it fitting. So now Rod's inserting galvanized carriage bolts into the wood so we can actually get on the inside and get those nuts and that put on nuts and washers and get those tightened up into place. So we'll continue on doing that and you'll see what she's like after that. So you see us do the other end. Now we're up on this end, cutting the planks for the end. A little bit of a weird angle here. I got the camera set up, but as long as you know what we're doing there, we're actually putting the top two 2x. So you see us do the other end. Now we're up on this end, cutting the planks for the end. A little bit of a weird angle here. I got the camera set up, but as long as you know what we're doing there, we're actually putting the top two 2x6 in up here. So we'll get those put in place and get those bolted in, and then that should glue up on the wood. And if you're asking yourself how come that's all open from the wood up, is because we have a donkey, and the donkey can't feed in through the side of those 6-inch spaces. So we leave that open up there so the donkey can feed over the sheet and feed comfortably through that hole, so he can stick his head in through that gap opening there from the two 2x6s up to the top bar. He can stick his head in there sideways, tip it up right, and feed away in there. So that's the reason why we did that. We put that bar that high because if we left it at the top where those two planks are, then that would still give the sheep access to jump up on top of the bale, because you mightn't realize it, but they can really jump when they want to. So that left us with a 16-inch gap, or roughly, I think it was like 14, 15 inches or so from the plank up to the top bar. So that eliminated us having issues with the sheep jumping in through, as they won't jump in through there. So yeah, that's the reason why that's open, to give that donkey some room to be able to feed off the same feeder as well. So we'll continue on bolting those in there and getting those into place. And then after this, later you'll see Rod came up with a really good idea, and I liked it, so we went with it. You'll see that here coming up soon. So you may ask yourself now, this looks a little different. And you're right, it is. It's a different feeder. This is the other one, the bigger one. We pulled that one out of the shop, and we had this one already done. We just had to put the boards in it. So we're actually doing 2 feeders here. But this one here, like I said, we had all the welding already done, and we're just putting the boards in because we cut the extra boards when we cut the one for the bigger one for this feeder too as well. So in a little bit, you'll get to see both of these feeders outside the shop here. So just wanted to show you, because you're going to see both of them in a minute anyway, but just to show you what we're doing, how that works. Better angles here on this video of this feeder, of that angle iron, on how it goes bolted in and how we set it up there. So as you can see, it's just one piece of angle iron welded on the corner, and that's what our boards bolt up into. So we're just going to bolt these boards up here, and we'll get both of these feeders taken outside, and you'll see big things happening outside. So this was Rod's idea. We made a brand, our farm brand, and Rod wanted to put our farm brand on the feeders. So I thought it was a great idea too as well. So that's what we did. We had the wood stove going because we wanted to get away from the coal outside, and plus we figured we'd throw this old iron in the wood stove and hot it up, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So that was Rod's idea. Worked out perfectly. So we have both of the feeders out of the shop here now. You'll see the other one there too as well. And after they're all done and that, I think they look pretty sharp for a couple amateurs. Never ever built anything like this before. I thought it was a pretty neat little project, and is sure going to come in handy. So you'll notice too that this feeder here that I'm branding on now is quite a bit more shorter than the other one, and the reason for that is we needed one feeder that could hold just one bale. So because we have different pins that when we're separating lambs, or we have rams separated at a season. So this is the feeder we use for that. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So as you can see, the other one in the background there is done, branded, and ready to go out and put in use. So we're filling up the new feeders, put some hay in them, or silage. So we'll put 4 bales in here for the sheep. Plus we'll leave this old grass out too as well. because that's the whole hay that we cut this year, that the grasshoppers had all the leaf eat off it, and it was all dead, so dry it all died. There's hardly anything in it at all, nothing. Couple little blades in there, but mostly just used for bedding, that's all. So we'll let them pick through it and so on, but this stuff is a lot better. So as you can tell, 4 bales will fit in there pretty easily. That's what we made them for. So, and this stuff is over 2 years old. It's got a little bit of barley in it, or actually I believe that one might be a little wheat. This is a barley. There's some oats in it. It was just an old second growth, like in the field after we cut the green feed off it. So it's got bits and pieces in it, little bits of mold in it too, as well, as you can see. So that's why we're trying to get rid of that here now, let them pick through it while their condition is still good from summer. Turkey's mine to get out of the way. But these feeders, they work really well. Seems to be doing the trick, so that's going to be perfect. Let them pick through and eat out of this. So how we build it was just let me turn you around. So what we did was, we actually, you've seen in previous videos where we tore apart a baler, a couple balers actually, and we gathered up the bars out of them. So that's the bars that you see in here, steel bars. We just cut them, squat them, then we actually bolted the angle iron on the inside here, so we can bolt the boards to, or weld the angle iron on, sorry, so we could bolt the boards on. These are just 2x6s, two 2x6s here. On the bottom is a 2x10, so it's actually like 12 inches from the ground to the top of that bar right there. It's about 12 inches. And then these bars here, this is just rebar that we had kicking around the farm here. That is a 13-inch gap right there, 13 inches, and the gap between the bars is actually 6 inches, give or take, you know what I mean? It's not like dead on 6 inches, but it's pretty close to 6 inches. We just marked 6 inches, put the bar in, so you know, with the width of the bar itself, it's measured up for 6 inches anyway, and that worked out perfect on those. We did it this way so we could like a double feeder, almost like. So that worked out really well. Really pleased with that. So hopefully we'll see some change in the feed that we're saving. So as you can tell, the sheep really do like the silage, even though it is over 2 years old. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 years old actually. So we'll leave, like I said, we'll leave some hay out, we'll leave the silage out, and they should be good for the week. So now we got to move down and feed the cows and that too as well. So there you have it. That's the video of the bale feeders we made, and boy, do they ever look good, and they work even better than what they look. So that's another good build for on the farm. So please, if you like these videos and like what we're doing on this little homestead that we've created right from scratch with zero experience and never grew up in none of this stuff before. So if this is the kind of stuff you like and you're interested in, then please help us along the way, help us on our journey through this YouTube, and check us out for more videos, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and follow along. Hit that little bell up there in the corner and get notifications when we post a new video. Follow us on all the social media sites and that we're a part of. So again, thanks again for tuning in and sticking around with us and learning as we go along our journey on this farm. So thanks for watching.